bears. I don't want to sound cliche-ish, but but I mean, she brought me here the last, what, 5 times?
Yeah.
So despite what people say, that alone, you know, and not just me, she brought Brother C3 Manel, Phil Valentine, Azariah, who else?
Audra Scott,
and Myra Moss. So that alone means that's the value. Sometimes we look at other things, you know, and try to, you know, things that shine, things that appease us as far as material, you see, whether someone appeases us or stroke our ego, but that's the main thing. If a person is doing the legwork and doing the actual job. Now, I'm not necessarily saying she didn't have help with some people in the community, but the point I'm trying to say here is you got to go above what's physical and judge that spiritual spark and that light that does that. And we got people, like I said, we got people all over the country that do the same thing. And we must say this particular part, and I do know just about the 90% of the people who do this work, they always go under financially by doing this. So this is a labor of love, but it's a labor of importance. And I don't know of anybody who literally gains financially by bringing these things. So for that alone, you should say, hey, you take your hat off to the sister Sanura for that form of sacrifice. So we want you to give her a black hand. And it's major in every place. I've been doing this for 14 years now. It'll be 14 years in June. And every place I go, and I have met people over the years. There's a whole nother crew of people that was doing this in the 90s that went under. Some of them dead. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a whole crew that was doing this in the early 2000s that's actually went under as far as not being able to maintain things, especially with their stores, especially with whatever they was trying to do in the community, with either books or with selling products or whatever, trying to keep things afloat. So therefore, you got to understand that that is a big sacrifice. When you see people is bringing conscious people, it's not necessarily for the finances. And even if they think they're doing it for the finances, they will soon find out. But this shit leads straight to the poorhouse. You see what I'm saying? So we want to thank her for the last 5 years of doing this. Now, to move right along, we're going to jump right in this thing. We're going to jump right in this. One aspect that I want to say before this is, before I lose this in the context of the lecture is the roles have shifted. We now have to understand this on a metaphysical level. Your children and the youth are now the non-innocent because of and what I mean by that is the government has come in and they have put hardship within the entertainment, what music they listen to, what movies they listen to. They have put all this hardship in the particular aspect of this hostile ego nature into the point where as they have to grow up fast and become hard and brittle at age 8. As soon as they can analyze a little bit, they have to become hard, defensive, you know, and go to school and this hostile living. So your children now are not the innocent ones. That means that we as, especially conscious, because we're not talking about the masses, we as rational beings, we have to become the innocent ones. And what I mean by that is, literally, we have to become like children. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm going to get into this particular science because this is the god Horus and the god Heru. And literally, we have to find whatever that innocence is. You see what I'm saying? Whereas we don't judge. That's one of the keys. We don't judge. You see? So over the last 3, 4, 5 years, I stopped judging gay people. I stopped judging all different. Not only that, I stopped judging the people that's what we call a quote-unquote quintessential asshole. I stopped judging them because remember now, the most arrogant of us are the most displaced and messed up dispositioned of us, if that's a word, is the most incomplete. So in so many words, you should feel sorry for people that's obnoxious.
That's right.
Who wants to be obnoxious? We are becoming super people and superhumans, and this brother right here is coming in with the king. Is a great example. Brother Jamal,
Right.
Ashe. We're going to get into that type of thing. The brother went through an ordeal, but then again, if you on the frequency and if you are, this brother was shot in the head. And if you are on the frequency, nothing can take you out, because that's the Superman. And it's ironic, this brother is a living example of the actual information that I'm getting ready to give today.
That's
and
right.
It's interesting here because when this happened, right before Christmas, we went to work. I got under the, you can do magic, and there's a science to it. I got under the headphones, and I got under a real receiver. So there's magic and stuff, because they're getting rid of a lot of stuff, and I got under them LPs, because it can't be done no other way. It can't be done with the hologram with us, which is a CD. Now, you know what I'm saying, now let's you get you a real good equalizer. I'm going ahead of myself. But you can work magic. And as a result, I went into the spirit realm, and I started healing for a brief moment, but the person that did a lot of the work was Sister Sanura, because she was on the case, you see what I'm saying, long after I did what I had to do daily. So there's some things that actually happened, but then again, on the other hand, the brother's spirit, you see what I'm saying, that's a God.
That's right.
Get the movie Unbreakable and understand that although they had Bruce Willis as the white boy, remember he's the frail face and weak bone, as Elijah Muhammad said. It was actually Samuel L. Jackson who was the actual Unbreakable. They just had the roles reversed. But if you look at that movie, you will see Samuel L. Jackson sitting in front of some hieroglyphic stuff that looked like this. If you go back and look at that movie, that meant they showed you who was the unbreakable one. You see some hieroglyphic stuff, and ironically, we're going to talk about this actual hieroglyphic thing today in this particular one. So I'm going ahead of myself, but my point here is that's evidence that we're unbreakable. You see what I'm saying? So we'll get back into that, but you know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see the brother rise, and then the brother's going to have full recovery, because I already saw it in the spirit realm.
That's right.
So now, before we get into all that, we need to jump off and give to God some, because I don't think it's a coincidence, because it's nothing for them, because they have intelligence. I'm talking about the government. And you best believe that they are only focusing on in America what we are doing.
Thank you.
Not the ignorant.
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? You know, not the stuff that you see on TV, but what we are doing, us mediocre so-called humans, black people in these communities, we the only thing going. So therefore, it's not in a Masonic town like this, when a flyer comes out and says, the bloodline of Sekhmet, what's up with our DNA? You see what I'm saying? Don't think that in actuality that that Bush is above coming into this town and doing a ritual the day before, so that they can offset some energy. But we are on a whole nother higher plane. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, we can't be touched on this thing. We're on a higher plane. But one of the keys as far as your protection now here is, you have to become innocent. You have to become childlike. And whatever it is, that, you know, whether you do some cartwheels or chew some bubble gum, or get you some sherbet and some popsicles, or you know, some gingerbread cookies, or whatever it takes for you to recapture that part of your youth when you were young, you're going to have to do it. The worst thing we could have done was get proud of saying, I'm grown, I'm grown. You see, it was interesting because I was a freshman in college, and I met this brother from Harlem. and he was a lot older than me, and he'd gone to college. He was like 5 years old, but he was a freshman with me, and he'd gone through some real hardship, and he went to school. He was a freshman in college, and he came down to my hometown in South Carolina to spend the summer with me and some other people he met, and I said, man, I'm grown. You know, I'm fucking 19. Didn't know my ass from a hole in it. I'm grown. He said, man, never say you grown. Say you growing. And at that particular time, he might have not knew what it was, but he knew that we didn't know nothing. You see what I'm saying? And I remember, and I always say this, I remember I was and I talked about this on my lecture. I was at Benedict College, it's a college in South Carolina, HBCU, a black college, and I was down there, and I was standing on the campus, and the coach was saying, man, you went to school, you're college educated, how do you feel? And I'm looking at him and I'm like, I don't feel nothing. I don't know nothing. Because them fools just rip you off, take your money.
Thank you.
They didn't teach me how to get out that damn front door. Only thing they teach you is to get dependent on a school loan and to go get whatever job they want you to get. You see what I'm saying? And train you on that particular level, but that's not, a real education is not allowed. This is the only education there is. You see what I'm saying? The only education there is. The point they taught me how to dress a little better. You see what I'm saying? But I didn't have to spend damn $5,000 a year at that time to learn how to put on a certain suit. But I'm just trying to say here is, it was culture for service. That's what one of the motto at Clark Atlanta that I went to. Culture for service. We're giving you a culture to serve somebody else.
Right.
But the point I'm trying to make here is we have to become innocent. So now we're not talking about shirk your responsibility as an adult. We're talking about a psychological thing. We talk about a psychological thing to get back in touch with that child, that kid that you used to be happy. Because you've been sad since you became an adult in a world like this. Got to get up and go to work or whatever type thing here and shell out dollars and pursue an acquisition of wealth, which is slavery. Now I'm talking about an adult whereas you don't even need no money. Something that you used to do as a child that you used to like. Now I'm going ahead of myself, but there's a whole nother fairy realm, a mystical spiritual realm. And we got access to it, but you can't come with the ego and the person that you have become. You see what I'm saying? The last 30, 40, 50, 60 years. It has to be that particular person before somebody got to us and made us into monsters. When we were young, you see what I'm saying? And we didn't judge on a certain level. You get where I'm coming from here? Now I'm going ahead of myself, and I don't want this to sound like this is, this brother he's reaching for straws. No, there's some science behind what I'm dealing with here. But we talk about getting back to that inner child. That's the key. You see what I'm saying? And if you can do that and all, you can work magic. You see what I'm saying? Where you don't worry as much. Right. So we have to become an optimistic freak. You see what I'm saying? Whereas, and I know it's a lot of strenuous things, but it's even this, we celebrating this goddess Lakshmi. The goddess Lakshmi, let's see if I got the overlay of the goddess Lakshmi, which is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. The goddess of wealth and prosperity. This is the goddess Lakshmi, which is connected with Sekhmet, which is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. Let's see if we can, hold up. Now, what I do is I work the lights, and I do all the work, But that wealth and that prosperity, you see what I'm saying? This is an ancient sister. That wealth and that prosperity comes when you stop worrying about money and finances. So what do they say? A sister told me about 10 years ago. She was channeling from the spirit realm. She said, follow knowledge, and money will run to you. Right. Follow money, and money will run from you. You never get on top of money.
Never.
That's right.
You don't think so? It's something called a mailbox. As soon as you think you got shit paid off, you walk out to the mailbox, here's another bill. So this is a never-ending story to keep you trapped forever. So don't worry about it. You see what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. You see. So in dealing with this, we have to become like children. I have made a career out of this shit. You know, especially when it comes to not worrying about finances and stuff. You see, because I can't really worry about what I never had. But I do all right now in the sense that I don't worry about a certain amount of things, and things work perfect. Now, moving right along, what we want to do is we want to put a strong libation to get the energies. And the reason why we want to do that, we got the strong, this is 151, so, Bacardi, so, we got some strong stuff for the spirit. And some of y'all know about this. You didn't, your headache did. They even got this thing even has a grill, a little grill funnel on it. They say, don't pour that much. We want to pour some of this and stuff to offset these rituals that are done. You understand what I'm saying? And we're going to go into some of this particular science. I got a TV up under here and a VCR. I'm going to show you some other things on one of the major things that happened with Katrina was with those babies that people can't find. We're going to go into the process on what happened to them and all of that. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, another thing we're going to have to start doing is like I said, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, which means you're going to have to use everything. Quran, Bible, Torah. That's just the religious aspect. We're not talking about advanced metaphysics, but you're going to find the keys to all of this stuff. As you see what I'm saying, you have to use all. Here's a good book called Armageddon Now. And this white guy here is a comparative study at some major university. It's called Armageddon Now, The End of the World from A to Z, by Jim Willis and Barbara Willis. And what made me get this, I said, well, I've seen this stuff here before. And I picked the book up, and it's interesting. The page, this was in Borders bookstore, and the page turned to, you can't see it, a picture of Marcus Garvey. And they talk about his prophecies and what he said about looking for him in the whirlwind. And they got a whole Ethiopian prophecy. And then I looked in the back, and the page turned where he was talking about Gerald Massey and Alvin Boyd Kuhn and Albert Churchward. I'm like, oh shoot, this white boy here, and this couple here, they into some stuff and stuff. And I know now, since most of the stuff from the Bible is taken from ancient scripture, before it became, it was an editing job. So a lot of the stuff out of the Library of Alexandria that was hoarded by the Greeks and the Romans became an editing fiasco to put together these volumes of books. These volumes of books, ending up with the King James Version. So even we know that the Book of Revelation comes out of Persia, and you can get the Persian Book of Revelation in a book, J.R. Birlin book, Parallel Myths. And I'm saying, because I heard Gerald Massey talk about it. He said, well, Book of Revelation came from Persia. And it came from Persia, so it's older than most of the material in the Bible. And the Persians got it from out of the Library of Alexandria with Cambyses in them, rating Kemet. So I knew this, and I said, well, and then I said, well, I would rather see it as a Persian apocalypse that he's talking about. And years later, J.R. Birlin's book, Parallel Myths, I think it's J.R. Birlin, Parallel Myths. They got the Persian apocalypse in there, and I was reading this, and I said, man, they shamelessly ripped this thing off. They didn't change. It was like damn near word for word. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to say here is even the Revelation and so these scriptures, because they are older scriptures, they're Egyptian in origin, we need to deal with all of that. You see what I'm saying? We need to get down with all of that. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to get into some of that. Here's another book that we're going to be dealing with. Some stuff that's happening. This is called The Ancient Egyptian Books of the Afterlife by Eric Horning. Eric Horning, H-O-R-N-U, that's H-O Hornig, Hornug. That's what it is. It's German. Eric Hornung. H-O-R-N-U-N-G. H-O-R-N-U-N-G. And this is stuff that's I think came out in like 99, which is key because we're going to show what this stuff is actually talking about. These books of the afterlife, and when you go and you see those particular things, what they call the Egyptian Book of the Gates, and you see all of these monsters and these particular things, they're actually talking about the cells in your body. We're going to get into this thing. And we're going to get into this. And I was talking to Charles Finch, and he said, yeah, this is a guy, he was an old Egyptologist, and he used to see a lot of stuff. So this is one of these books. We're going to get into that. I'm going ahead of myself. But this particular book, like I said, Armageddon Now, by Jim Willis and Barbara Willis, is an excellent book. And it just came out in 2006. So we want to see what they're talking about. You're going to have to gather all these things. All these prophecies and all these things, all this stuff is nothing but stuff that came from out of the Library of Alexandria. And basically the Egyptians fed the world with all these scriptures and these things. And whether it's 1,000 years or 100 years after Kemet or whatever, it's still nothing but just retold stories of the same Egyptian or Camite or African myths. So we got to grab all of it. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And so, it's interesting how the white boy does it. Because he calls it chaos magic. He said, well, you know, we got all those black people stuck in culture. So we got the Moors over here arguing, we got the Hebrews arguing, we got the Christians arguing, we got the Yoruba arguing, we got the Santeria, we got the Dogon, we got these Egyptian groups over here, you see what I'm saying? We got Sumerian this and all this, and they say, look, we're not from any of that. And while they're still separated by their own traditions, we'll gather all those traditions together and study them all. You see what I'm saying? Because it's interesting here because they are not the origin of these things or the authors of these things. They get the benefit of studying them without being stuck in these cultures.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
And stuck in things that we know is all over the world. It's all our stuff. So people say, damn, Bobby, you know, you're doing a lot of East Indian stuff and you're doing all this here. What happened to the Kemet thing? I'm like, we are more than just one continent.
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? Now, we laid the foundation with that with Ivan Van Sertima, a series of books, African presence in Asia, African presence in Europe, African presence in America. You understand what I'm saying? So, if I give you some Chinese shit, you know it's black.
That's right.
So why trip?
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because they said, well, you know, you was doing Kemet. I said, I did Kemet for 10 years. Why should I come back to you giving you the same stuff that I did 10 years? I'm a researcher. I'm not a lecturer. I'm not a theologian to come in and give you the same story every damn week or year after year after year. I'm a researcher. I'm not, you see what I'm saying? So I got to research other things. I said, next time I'm going to be doing some yin-yang stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because it's all of our things.
That's right.
You see what I was watching a movie, it's on cable now, Vanity Fair, Reese Witherspoon. It came out in 2004. It's on cable now, Vanity Fair. Some say record this movie. And it's all about white folks in the 17th century and 18th century and how they view everything based on who family had money. And you get cut off, you went down to the bottom. It was a caste system. And they said, now these are the same elite people that's ruling you now, and this is the way they think.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? This is the way they think. One woman loved this sister, Reese Witherspoon. She was a governess. And she loved her, moved her in, was paying her bills, had her in the house. She loved her. They confided. But as soon as she fell in love with the woman's son, she cut the son off and threw her out and threw them all out. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a caste system. You see, so this is something, so the Spirit was like, look, you need to see this movie because these are the people, where did these people go? These snobbish British psychopaths.
Yes. Right.
Where did they go? These are the global elite now that rule you, so you need to see their origin.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you need to see Sense and Sensibility. And all all these particular things here and see the mentality on what these global elites, because these are the people that's ruling you now.
That's right.
You see, they got another one, Elizabeth II, coming on HBO. And this is how you get to see the mindset of world sociopath, or race of sociopath. A sociopath says they can do what they want to you as long as they can justify it in their sick mind. It can be the weakest excuse ever. They can live with it, and they can think that they're right all the time. That's a sociopath. And we know of sociopathic individuals that they call mass murderers and all kind of people like this. But what we don't realize is we're talking about a whole race of sociopaths. If they only see them as being the head and the authority of everything, and every other culture is a subject, then that means that they are, over the years, okay, we have done ample amount of studies on our effect of slavery, colonization, or what have you. And we know the effects of our psychological conditioning. We got volumes of books on this stuff.
Right.
So if there's an effect of slavery, there has to be a mental and psychological effect of people who put these atrocities on you, and it comes down to a sociopathic behavior. So that's why Bush can tear down the country and do what he wants.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And they can justify this man lying to them every day.
Right.
They love it.
Right.
But because he's white, and because they're white, they know that there can't be anything wrong. So they are spoiled by the fatted calf. And that is what's moving them out of the picture. You see what I'm saying? They will never be able to come out of Iraq. Never. You think that they are into a black hole. As long as they're into the black hole, they have entered that, they will never be able to come out of that. I told the people that 3 years ago. I said they will never be able to come out of Iraq. And it's 3 years, and what did Bush say the other day? I think when they asked him about getting them out, he said, well, you're going to have to ask somebody who comes after me that question. He said, that is for some future president to come after me. Because, hey, it ain't on my watch. They're going to stay the damn course. Because that's what his boss, the British intelligence, told him. The British, the Queen, or whatever, the Queen said, look, dotified, fuck Diana, excuse the expression, and got her pregnant with an Arab child, and therefore, I'm against Islam. See what I'm saying? I'm against Islam. That's one of them. See, it's a ritual with them. It's like a chess game. Oh, you did this, then I have to do this. And you can be trying to rationalize the same. Well, you know, that's irrational for you to say that the queen can turn against some people and subjugate a whole race of people based on something personal that happened to their particular society, their court, or their, or their structure. No, that's the way you think. That's not the way the people that's been playing a chess game with you for years.
That's right.
You understand the thing? You get one little personal thing and they go, look, hey, let's lock down all of Islam. You see what I'm saying? And make it our enemy. We have to have enemies anyway.
Right.
The wall came down in Russia. You see what I'm saying? That's not the enemy no more. You see what I'm saying? We got to have enemies. So, and you say, look, this guy went into the house of Windsor, and so therefore all Arabs have to pay. Anybody see V for Vendetta yet? You got to see the movie. Because in the movie, what happened? They broke in the person's house and said they found a Quran in the house, and as a result, he had to pay. Because the Quran was outlawed. You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand this particular mindset to understand that this is all a game. And so, yes, he can keep those people there forever. You see what I'm saying? Forever. So I'm going ahead of myself, but it's just interesting how these things go. And we're going to go into a lot of stuff we got to get into. Because it's one thing to discuss what's happening with them. We know that it's the same game every day, but we need to also discuss our research, and we need to also discuss our progress. You see what I'm saying? It's there. It's progressive, and things are actually working. So I will say this before I pour libations. I went from 1992 when I started, right after the LA riots. Well, actually, it was a day after the LA riots. I stood up and spoke with Steve Coakley, and that started a chain of events. And then that, and I was 30 at the time, and it started a chain of events. And then by June that year, I started lecturing. We had to get out a lot of information, a lot of bibliography, a lot of books, and go through a lot of systems and a lot of things that was not privy, our people was not privy to. We had to reopen all of these mysteries that the Europeans had hid and called it New Age, metaphysical, and all the occult. And understand that this is just our mysteries, you see what I'm saying, with a new name on it. Western tradition and stuff like that. But what we're dealing with now here is, even in the research, the entire time I was doing this, it was never about lecturing the people. That's why I was successful about doing it. It was about my research. It was about trying to see results. So as a result, in 2000, people were like, well, why aren't you lecturing on the things you lectured about in the 90s? I said, I already lectured on them in the 90s. It's about ongoing research. And you research, you come on through. You see what I'm saying? You know, come on through, don't matter, you know, we put you on the spot like that. You see what I'm saying? It's about ongoing research. So therefore, but with research there have to be results. So we're going to go into the actual results of things that's actually happening. So by the 2000s, what used to be information, knowledge, theory, knowledge, and uncovering all this, by the 2000s, it started locking into initiations under a particular aspect of experiences. Certain things that's happening to certain humans, and certain black people, and even in my own initiation and my thing. The whole thing was an initiation, but by 2000, the actual gods started to wake up, and that is talking about going to a higher level inwardly. So we want to go into these results on things that is actually happening. And in order to do this, it has to be broken down on a simple level, because it's the things that we miss. It's just like this this picture here that we see right here. The brother asked me, he said, well, you got all these up here. Why do you got all these pictures, and these pictures are for sale. These are rare pictures. We're going to be showing these tonight in the visual aspect. And the guy said, well, why do you have this Marvin Gaye up there? Why do you have this Marvin Gaye? Let's see if we can get this right here. Why do you have this Marvin Gaye up with all that? I said, why not? He's a muse, and if you understand the whole concept of muse, you go to a museum. The muse is music. You get a muse. The muse is the archetype that's the most important. And the muse has run our civilization, especially in the modern world. It's been about the muse more than it's been about technology for us. The muse, the creativeness, which is the direct link with your own inner body, whenever you can create. And none other than this particular man that they took out in 1984, they killed him. There was another person in the room. Very key that you understand how they do these things. They did it to Betty Shabazz. Her grandson supposedly had burned her up. There's always another person in the room. His father was crazy or whatever. There was another person in the room. And they kill these people and say, now you can't never say nothing about what really went down or everybody dies. You got to understand the science. You say, well, why did they want to kill this particular person? Because he had tapped into the tantric mysteries, or the ancient tantric mysteries of ancient Africa and on into ancient India, which is basically Kushite. One thing that Drusilla Dundee Houston's book, Wonderful Ethiopians in the Ancient Kushite Empire, she wrote that in the 1930s, a black woman.
Yes, she did.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That you all got to understand that the India thing ain't nothing but Ethiopia.
That's right.
Kush. You see. So now the tantric mysteries came from inner Africa, which is the mysteries of sex, sexual alchemy, and tantra, which is the mysteries of sex. And he was tapping into that. He started with the first level was sexual healing, which won the Grammy. First Grammy he won. You see what I'm saying? Because one of his biggest hits, Let's Get It On, the white folks, they always pick somebody we don't like. So Lou Rawls got the Grammy that night over Marvin Gaye. Always off.
Yeah.
You see, I ain't saying Lou Rawls ain't what he's supposed to be. You know, that's one of our gods too. You see what I'm saying? But, you see, but he messed up when he got that second white girl. She really played a fool for him in his funeral the other time. Had him up there with a purple suit on and a purple hat turned backwards. Something that is not even indicative of his era. But then again, that's a ritual white folks do. We'll get into some of that also. You see. But the key here is we're talking about a person that was getting ready to tap into a high level of information and giving the people certain information and certain things spiritually. And as a result, they took him out. So it's not by mistake you get a billboard and you say, well, it's a Hennessy commercial. Well, who else gonna pay for something? You're not gonna put him up on a billboard across the United States. I don't give a damn if it's Van Camp, poking beans. Just for the simple fact you see that black God up there that your children can say, Daddy, who is that? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You say, hey, that's the man that brought you here. Who was playing that music that night, and me and your mama got it on.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? We don't raise our gods up. So who cares by me? But that's the way the spirit world always does things. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about the creating thing. I'm going ahead of myself. Well, let me post some libations. I'm going to put the goddess Sekhmet back up. Because this is a lecture about her. Well, it's part of it. You know, but we're going to pour this libation, and we get some real powerful stuff going to offset the ritual that's being done. Let's see, I have to focus on it. You know, we got this light up here, so you're just going to have to just bear with it. You can see it. And we're going to pour this, and we're going to just give a brief, I even got some guards right here we can call. And we're going to give a brief, invocation of libation. And we're going to give this, and then we're going to get on into the lecture. So let's do this to give you God's theirs. You know, and I want some very powerful arches to really offset the energy when these people touch down. Look, this man, let me explain something about the president. Yeah. This man is an idiot. So that means his job is ceremonial. Yeah. Understand this. Notice he ain't coming here to see about nothing financial or nothing that has something to do with the city running. That's already done by the hierarchy who rule the world, and it ain't in America.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that means that his job is ceremonial. That means that his job is also ceremonial magic. You understand what I'm saying? He's playing the Horus figure. You say, how is Bush playing the Horus figure? Osiris died and was defeated by Set. Then his son rises up and avenged the father. Well, Bush Sr. was defeated, you understand what I'm saying, in 92. And his son comes back as Horus to avenge the father. Everything is based on ritual. Understand the ritual. He's acting as Horus. You know that? He got him a black woman. Condoleezza Rice. See what I'm saying? A real witch. In the magical sense I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? In the magical sense. So know how these things go. It's a whole ritual. And never look at the apparent. These people are nothing about what you think they are about based on the political scene. You see, it's all ceremonial. So whenever he comes and it's ceremonial, you best believe it's for a ritual. Like they say downtown is a pyramid, or what is this whole thing?
Monument circle.
Right. So they come for a certain ritual. Even the race, the Indiana, what, 5,000 or whatever that shit is? 500 or whatever. That's a race. That is a ritual every year. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is a ritual. Now, they put on the flyer about the city of Heliopolis. Heliopolis is where the Egyptian priesthood of On used to be in order. And the priesthood of On was under the priesthood of Tahuti. Tahuti is the God of wisdom, magic, chemistry, alchemy, science. So don't you have chemistry? Don't you have Lilly Pharmaceutical? Eli Lilly?
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So the Heliopolis is chemistry. So everything has got something to do with what used to be in our world. They break this thing down Masonically here. So it didn't have the world of America is under pharmaceutical tyranny.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So therefore, this is their priesthood of own, Heliopolis. The same Tahuti in which Imhotep was a priest of Tahuti. You can find that in the Hermetic text when he's talking to Tot. Tahuti, Tot, Tot-on. He's talking to Tot, Imhotep, which is Asclepius. You see, he's talking to Tot, and Tot is telling him where the prophecy on us going into slavery came from 5,000 years before it actually happened, is in those Hermetic texts. You see what I'm saying? So this city is a carbon copy of those particular, the priesthood of On or Heliopolis. You see, just like Memphis, Tennessee is the actual Memphis, Kemet.
Yes.
You see, Atlanta is Atlantis. Well, you say, well, how is that? Well, they said that, well, the history is it used to be up under water. And the Stone Mountain is one of the highest points in America. As far as land, not the mountains, but the way the land is based on land mass. You see, it's a lot of things that's going on. So all this stuff is ritualistic. You see what I'm saying? It's ritualistic. So you have ceremonies going on. Don't you have basketball, baseball, football here? Those are ritualistic ceremonies. So everything is everything, but it is not what is to be the apparent. What appears to be. Never look at the apparent. You see what I'm saying? Never look at the apparent and stuff. And one of the other things is the apparent is you focused on black people doing bad. You focus on something that you can't change. You can only change you and the ones that correspond to you, and ultimately, you see what I'm saying? There will be a redemption of all our people, but not necessarily in the physical. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what these Book of the Gates is talking about. It ain't talking about every, a Mercedes in every parking lot. Because we are the richest people in the world. I'm downtown Harlem on a Monday morning, and it's packed. I mean, it's got literally hundreds of people walking around. I'm like, dang, how do these people not work? Buying on Monday morning just as packed as it was Saturday in so-called Harlem. Black people got money. You understand what I'm saying?
They do. Oh, yeah.
Black people got money, and even if you look at a project, housing project, that's a condominium in some part of the world. Even the base, do you know that the Britons and most of the Europeans don't live as well as black people in America? The little, if you go there, you see the little houses that they live in Britain, in Europe, and Scotland and stuff like that. They don't live on the same level. You see what I'm saying? They don't have the resources. You see what I mean? So my point here is the whole concept of black people doing bad is something that somebody tell you that. It's just like most polls and stuff that you get about black people doing bad is the government giving you this reality, and you make it a damn reality. They say, oh, you doing bad. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not talking about somebody that's on drugs and then got knocked off the wheel, and I'm not necessarily trying to put sweet poverty under the rug. But my point here is it's only a matter of perspective.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Because like I say, we didn't know we was poor until I grew up and somebody told us we was poor. It's a matter of perspective. You see what I'm saying? You know, hell. Checkers got burgers for 99 cents. Checkers got burgers. So I'm not telling you to go out and eat that bullshit that burn your brain up, but I'm just trying to say, if a nigga want to get fed in America, he ain't got the bum but 4 quarters, and it's a done deal. If you want a chicken sandwich, just bum 4 more quarters. You can just live to say, look, I'm going to get my 2 quarters in the morning, I'm going to get 8 quarters in the morning, and 8 quarters in the goddamn evening. Excuse the expression. If I want a milkshake, I just bum a couple more quarters. It's really not rocket science. The problem is America eats too much. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about poverty in the sense of whatever. Now, if you talk about the the rap commercials telling you that you need bling bling. You see what I'm saying? And then why is it that every time somebody get some jewelry or somebody give me some jewelry, other than this spiritual stuff I got on, it's good for about the first hour. And then after that, I just don't, it doesn't hold any significance. You know, you got a ring on and you go, this is really nothing. I couldn't live without this thing, and it's just it's a trinket. So my point here is it's only an illusion. Somebody telling you that this bling bling is important. And we got drawers of this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Dresser drawers full of bling bling and stuff, and we just need the new product. It's only an illusion. It's not real. I don't want to preach to you all. But let's go into this. But I know it's going to be a good one. We ain't got many hours, but it's going to be a good one whenever I start preaching before I do these libations. Well, let's give some of these some juice. Because we got a lot of stuff to cover and a lot of pictures and stuff, you see. And, you know, we just going to have to, you know, do the 2-day event the next time or whatever, you see. But we can always do this. Y'all all right? Okay, let's do this.
Right. Check. I
I got to be careful with this one here now. But what's the libation myself with this one?
Take some 7-Up on that.
Huh? No.
Put some in there.
That's the bottom. Real life theory. Real magical. No serious business. This sister here is a real magical sister here. You know, real magical sister, you know. But you know, like them fairies and stuff can be real dangerous too. They, you know.
That's right.
But I'm telling you, so we have people. She's an artist and she's, you know, all types of things. But we have people among us that have a great amount of talent. You see what I'm saying? But we can't let the greater society define what our talent is.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? Right. What I can give you somebody like a Tiger Woods and you saying, oh, that's talent. No, that's just one picture frame of our history and a fragment of what our greatness is. You see what I'm saying? They'll say Tiger Woods, but that's another black one on there. BJ Singh is just as good as Tiger Woods, and he's blacker than Tiger Woods. You don't call him black, but they come from the same origin. See what I'm saying? You see, they're real quiet about him. You see, they're real quiet about him. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on. You see, so, but my point here is we can't let things define us, you know, of what our talent is. You see, and we can't say, because we're not getting accolades to what society says is the people that's got the real deal talent. We got some real talented. I walked in Sanura house and her husband redid the floors. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, dang, man, I ain't seen no floors look like this, but only in them damn office buildings. Dang. You see what I'm saying? Stain them and all this kind of, I'm like, dang, man, this is some real deal talent. We got all kind of stuff that niggas can do. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just saying on a certain level, and that ain't nothing, but that's a form of, that's an art form. You see what I'm saying? That's an art form. All of a sudden, I just only been cooking about 10 years, but all of a sudden, within the 2000s, I become a cook, and I done tried this stuff out on everybody that came to my house. And like, how do you do it? I said, I don't know. I go in the kitchen, and the spirit takes over, and I said, I don't, it's like playing the piano by ear, or what they used to say. I said, I don't know how I do it. I said, but whenever I cook, I ain't never cooked it before, but when it come out, it's a gourmet meal. And it's from the spirit realm. So we got all kinds of doggone, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of talent. You see, so we got to do this. So let me do this right now. Okay, y'all, give me a good ashe right quick. Okay, give me a loud one. That's the tone we want to deal with. You ready? Okay, Osa. I say Tahuti. I say Maya. I say Ra. I say Pata. I say Seth. I say Lamira. I say Senubit. I say Heheru. I say Rahaku. I say Hamaku. I say Amaku. I say Sele. I say Summit. I say Samu. I say Samu. I say Anubis. I say Andrew. I say Aset. I say Neptines. I say Nemher. I say Ishtar. I say Moku. I say Nobu. I say Mana. I say Piti. I say Nobu. I say I say, oh teacher, I say, Cheola, I say, Tiacha, I say, Omagumu, I say, Shumala, I say, Kakambo, I say, Lamado, I say, Alcala, I say, Lokeo, I say, Bel, I say, Lesh, I say, Brahmin, I say, Vishnu, I say, Lakshmi, I say, Brahmini, I say, Ramachandra, I say, Shiva, I say, Indra, I say, Hanuman, I say, Sita, I say, Lakshmi, I say, Ganesha, I say, Lolita, I say, Sekhmet, I say, Saki, I say, Maya, I say, Second, I say, Dambalawelo, I say, Mamasha, I say, Bridget, I say, Aduwadi, I say, Berzuli, I say, Eduardo, I say, Saka, I say, Alapi, I say, Aduba, I say, Yeminya, I say, Vishoku, I say, Oshun, I say, Artemis, I say, Hermes, I say, Aphrodite, I say, Demeter, I say, Persephone, I say, Alpheus, I say, Aqua, I say, Upsala, I say, Best, I say, Pan, I say, Panhandle, I say, Valenta, I say, Lamb, I say, Ewas, I say, Obat, I say, Amas, I say, Kuan Yin, I say, Terra, I say, Ava, I say, Sirius, I say, Mars, I say, Mars, I say, Venus, I say, Mercury, I say, Diana, I say, Apollo, I say, Bill, I say, Bill, I say, Minimal, I say, Manchu, I say, Takshi, I say, Sebek, I say, Anana, I say, Pazuzu, I say, Melska, I say, Atma, I say, Luigi, I say, Obama, I say, Puma, I say, Leowawa, I say, Lodubo, I say, Miwasta, I say, Emelise, I say, Urge, I say, Mithra, I say, I want to give a good one out to the god Orpheus. We're going to talk about him tonight. Orpheus, I say, Abraxas, I say, Abra, I say, Heru, I say, Atan, I say, Atin, I say, Aman, I say, Emmanuel, I say, Ben, I say, Universe, I say, Sahu, I say, Bass, I say, Bass, I say, Butchers, I say, Shaduk, I say, Shuab Hotel, I say, Kentucky, I say, Ayunim Hotel, I say, Borsutech, I say, Kali, I say, Terra, I say, Durga, I say, let's see a few other ones. The All God, I shall be talking about. Maya, I say, Sekmaya, I say, Lava, I say, I'm not the country. I say, Heruaha, I say, Horsepi, I say, Luke, I say, Apit, I say, Kyert, I say, Tayama, I say, Kingu, I say, Lamu, I say, Lamu, I say, Timu, I say, Apsu, I say, On, I say, Amru, I say, Manesra, I say, Metatron, I say, Metronet, I say, Lilith, I say, Samuel, Lilitu, Layla, I say, Tammuz, I say, Jamuzi, I say, let's see, Medullatan, I say, Menestra, Tetragrammaton, I say, Edoedo, I say, Saint Martha, I say, Lazarine, I say, Aquaine, I say, I think that'll do it for right now. I think for more than a few minutes. Baphomet, I say, Adon, I say, Diopan, Dionysus, I say, Bacchus, I say, Rani, I say, Eros, I say, Psyche, I say, Trustus, I say, Jason, I say, Medea, I say, you all thinking Medea the movie. It was interesting that they named that Medea, which is a goddess. A goddess. You really want to see the real one, get Jason in the Argonaut 1963, and Jason in the Argonaut 2000, you'll see the real Medea in there working magic. But then again, that black woman kicking ass looked like some sisters I used to grow up with, so it resonated with me with the movie and stuff. When she went in, anybody saw the movie Medea? When she went in that bag and pulled out them belts. And if you ain't seen it, you know. It resonated with me. I know some black women like that because my grandma and mama used to be that way. But anyway, to all gods known and unknown, I'm going to call on my Hemmitt family, Shaw family, Davis family, my Queen's family, my Goddess family. I want to get that right. And I want you to call your family members out. 1, 2, 3, start calling out family members that's past the baby transition. Ashe, 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 Ashe. To all ancestors known and unknown, Ashe. I want to give a special shout out to a god called Hanuman. Also, we got a black Buddha up there that we're going to deal with. Like I said, these pictures that you see up here are for sale. They're $5 each. And they're not just mere Xerox pictures. Not just mere Xerox pictures. Some of these pictures, I got a picture of a black Buddha, cost me $200 just to get that picture of a Buddha up there. And I'll show it. You don't have to look. I'm going to show them on the overlays, on the overheads, so you can see. This is the real how Buddha really looked. And look more like Chris Rock. That's the real Buddha. And stuff, you see what I'm saying? So, let's see this thing. Can you see that? That's Buddha. So, my point here is, so we got a lot of pictures. We'll be going through some of these, and when we go into the actual lecture, and these things got a lot of energy. Now, one thing about it is we got one, which is that goddess Lakshmi that I showed. A lot of people bought that and had a lot of prosperity. So if you alien in the money department, you want to get you one of them Lakshmis, and there's 2 or 3 different ones you want to get, and a couple of other ones I'm going to go into in a few minutes. You want to get a hold. You say, well, what is it going to do? I'm telling you, these things here, the spirits come, and so what it is there's gods and goddesses from around the world that's coming, and they want to be with one people, the Africans in the diaspora, and mainly the African Americans in the consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just the Egyptian or the African thing. We got them coming from China, Japan, India, Mexico. All from these entities are coming, and these spirits want to dwell with one people, the head of the snake, which is the black conscious on the planet.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you got double backup for the entities that want to commune with you and help you. Now let me give you an example. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Give me an example. Let me show you this here. Let me get this. Here's a picture of a goddess, Kuan Yin, from China, Asia, Thailand, Japan, by way of India, and on into Africa.
That's not showing up.
It's not showing up real good?
Can you do that light thing?
Yeah, okay. Let me show you. Y'all all right? Because I want to show you this. To show you what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with just getting information about different deities that we can't do nothing about. We're dealing with actual progress here. What I mean by that is this. For Christmas, this entity showed up. Kuan Yin. Thousands, if not millions, of Asians have statues to her. She's the goddess of compassion. She was killed, went into hell, resurrected on the 3rd day, and gave compassion in his personal savior. Does that story sound familiar? See what I'm saying? Did you get that?
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord Jesus. Get the Lord Jesus. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
This is a book called Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero by David Adams Leeming. Hell of a book. Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero by David Adams Leeming. It is a must-have. It's another book. I'll give you the name of it. It's another one he got called The World of Myth. His name is David Adams Leeming. Leeming. This is a book called Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero. You want to get this one, and you want to get this other book called The World of Myth by David Adams Leeming. And in here, there's a whole thing on Kuan Yin doing the same thing that Jesus did. Get the story, how this story is around the world, but they got you thinking it's some Jew boy. You see what I'm saying? They came along and did it thousands of years after Horus did it, Mithra did it, Abraxas did it, Orpheus did it, and Orpheus is a Messiah figure. And this is why you're saying, well, why would they kill Marvin Gaye? Well, I'm going to go into Orpheus, and you understand that the Greeks, the Africans, The Romans and all of them believed that one of the saviors, one of the forms of the messiahs that would come through music. See what I'm saying? There was a book called Messiahs of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then I realized, oh, there's about 20 different messiahs. It's not just one messiah. They got a messiah teacher. You see what I'm saying? There's a messiah teacher, a messiah father. They got different levels of messiahs. And these are nothing but the different talents in our community. You understand what I'm saying? In our community. I know a nigga used to could put his hand on the engine of the car and the damn car would start up. That's a messiah. I said, man, and this brother was a crackhead. He said, well, they tell you in the book the Nephilim, which is us. The Nephilim is the ancient ones.
That's right.
The ancient ones that rule the earth.
The ancient ones.
They say the great old ones are the ancient ones. They say, well, where are the Nephilims now? They say you will find them in jail. Because their souls are so old until they don't rest with just the everyday average life and they tired of it. So you'll find them in jails and around the liquor store. See what I'm saying? So, I don't know where I was going with this. Anyway, there's several messiahs. Well, one of this is Kuan Yin. So, in November, I woke up and I told my queen, I said, oh, you gotta stop. You got 5 minutes. I told my queen, I said, yeah, you gotta put another tape in. I told my queen, I said, is Kuan Yin trying to get in touch with me? And so she did the channel and said, yes, she's trying to get in touch with you. So then Kuan Yin said, well, I said, what do you want? You want me to buy a big statue I saw downtown? She said, no, I want a picture. So I looked through all the books and couldn't find the picture. And I had one book that I paid like $50 for, walked outside and the book fell apart. It was so old. The binding fell apart, but it had every picture I needed in it. I did it in Chicago. Okay. The last page in the book, which is like 300 pages, this picture came up. Very ancient statue. And she said, I want a picture. I said, dang, now what is this? Because what she wanted to do, she knew that I was taking these ancient pictures and selling them and giving them to the people. And she said, I want to go with the black people who buy this picture. So now, I went to Ohio. I told them, I said, look, you need to get this picture here because this goddess came all the way, thousands of miles, you want to be with black people. Then she came, I did a lecture in Houston on March 4th. And I was in the plane, that was about 3 weeks ago, and on the back of the plane, they said, look, this is a goddess of compassion. And she will help people. She said, now just imagine, if I'm the goddess of compassion and I help thousands of Asians, and I want to deal with the African, especially the African American community,